Assalamu alaikum. Okay, today's lesson is about changing the subject, rearranging equations, and isolating a variable on one side and everything else on the other side. It's not quite like solving an equation because when we make something the subject, it's not necessary that you'll have numbers on one side and one letter on the other side. Sometimes you'll have lots of letters on one side and one letter on the other side. Anyway, you'll see. Let's get started. Alright, so solve the following equations. This is just a warm-up exercise. Hopefully you've learned how to do this. You get the letters on one side, numbers on the other side, and you end up with that. For the second one, you multiply both sides by 3, so you get 27 on the right-hand side. Subtract 7, so you get 20 divided by 2. Feel free to pause the video and try to solve it yourself. Just make sure you can do it. And again, pause the video if you want to give it a go yourself, and just make sure you know this. This is what you'll need. These are the skills you'll need in order to go ahead with the chapter today. And x is equal to 7. All right, let's get started. So when we solve an equation, we basically think of x as being stuck with like a bunch of other stuff, and you want it by itself. You want to free it. It wants to be free, right? It's a true thug. It wants to be free. It wants to be alone by itself, and the thing is, you can only do that if you get rid of everything else. Now this 2x minus 5 is trapped like in a prison kind of thing, that square root, and you can't do anything until you get rid of that prison. Let's square both sides. If you square both sides, the square root disappears on the left, the right hand side, the 3 gets squared, becomes a 9, and then obviously you add 5 to both sides, divide both sides by 2, and you get 7. That's the general idea, I guess. Alright, so really easy. We have to make x the subject of these, all of these, I guess. Now we're not solving it because you will have letters on the other side. All we're doing is we're getting x by itself and everything else on the other side, letters and numbers. Okay, so we add 2 to both sides, get x is equal to y plus 2. Over here we add 2 to we subtract 2 from both sides, and then we divide by 3, right? And over here, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. The reason why we don't square both sides is because if you square the x, we kind of square the 1. It gets really ugly and messy. We're going to get rid of that 1 first. Subtract 1, y minus 1, and then we square it. Y minus 1, and then we square it. Okay. And over here, we multiply both sides by 4, and add a, and then we square root. Hopefully you can see that. And like I said, feel free to pause the video, give it a go yourself, and see how you do. Just make sure you get the right answer. And there. Alright, skill second, subject's trapped in a negative term. Sometimes what will happen is, like, it's easy when you have something like this, right? You just take everything outside. What about if the x is negative? Like the x is trapped with something that's negative, right? If we do what we normally do, then, we have negative on the right hand side. We don't really want that, do we? So what we do is we take the 2x to the left hand side. We add 2x to both sides. Right? You get y plus 2x is equal to 3, like you see over here. And then you just proceed as per normal. Okay? Subtract y from both sides, and then you divide both sides by 2. Alright, so for example over here. Now if we just took the a on the right hand side, you'd have negative x. We don't really want that, we want positive x. So you take the x to the right and b to the left. So we add x to both sides, and then we subtract b on both sides in order to get this. Remember, it doesn't matter which side the x is on by itself. You can have the x on the right hand side, on the left hand, it doesn't matter. Alright, over here we have, okay, we're going to subtract 1 from, we're going to add bx to both sides, take it on the right hand side, right? And then we take away the c from both sides, and we divide by b. This is where it starts to get tricky. Please give this a go yourself. See if you can figure it out. Alright, so I'd add c square root x to both sides. Take that over there. And then take all this stuff to the left. So negative y and negative 1. So a being negative y negative 1 is equal to c square root x. And then we would divide both sides by c. Hopefully you can see. I'm not really sure. I should probably have, written as we were going along. Anyway, we'll do that tomorrow. It's okay. So subtract both y and 1 on both sides. We have to get rid of that c, so we divide it. It comes to the bottom. Now we have to square both sides to get rid of that square root. And finally, x is free. A true thug, even if I do say so myself. Alright. Subject is trapped in the denominator. When x is on the top, it's easy. Just multiply both sides by q, right? It's easy. What about if x is at the bottom? What happens then? Well, we do the same thing. We just multiply both sides by x plus 1. So it goes all the way there. Right, now you might have to expand this, or actually just divide both sides by y if you want. You can do it either way, but it's probably easier to divide both sides by y. To just subtract 1. And done. Right, now try give these a go before you see the answers. So pause the video if you want. Give it a go. Alright, so it's on the bottom. Multiply both sides by x. It becomes ax is equal to b minus c. Divide both sides by a, and it's almost like you've almost swapped a and x, kind of. Alright, over here, we are not going to multiply both sides by x, because if we do, we'd have to multiply the b by x as well, because we are multiplying both sides. So first, we're going to subtract b, take it over there. Then we multiply both sides by x. So subtract b, multiply both sides by x, and then divide that term, c minus p, to over here. It becomes x by itself. Similarly, the x is negative here, so we are going to take that to the left hand side first. C over x plus a is equal to b, c over x, and then we take the b on that side, I guess. I'm sorry, I mean a, we take it on that side. And yeah. Multiply. Well, that skipped a few steps, I guess, over here. So you can just swap, multiply both sides by x and then take the b over there. B minus a over there. And sometimes you might have to cross multiply. It looks hard. It's really not. It's the same thing. And you can see a bromanimation, whatever. Bromanimation. Hopefully you focused on what was happening. So x would go over here, x multiplied by a plus 1, close bracket, and the b would go over there, bc, right? X goes over here, becomes bc, and then you divide both sides by a plus 1, so the a plus 1 goes to the bottom here. And over here as well, you cross multiply, the x minus 1 goes over there, multiplies with the c, the d multiplies with the b squared, and the rest is pretty simple. We want x by itself, divide both sides by c to get rid of it. You have x minus 1, add 1 to both sides, obviously, and you get that. And that's it for today. Good luck with the chapter tomorrow. Please let me know on Slack if you run into any difficulties, and I'll do my best to help you as possible. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.